What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we've been talking about Black Friday advertisements for a little while now, GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, but it looks like Nintendo wanted to get in on the action and they put out a massive sale that is live right now, and we're going to go over that here today. We're talking hundreds, even maybe about 1,000 games, and they're not little games, they're fairly large ones, even from Nintendo themselves. Also, it does look like the PlayStation 5 stock situation with resellers and scalpers online is actually getting worse, as some groups have more stock now than most online retailers have ever seen. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit the like button, helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit the red subscribe button down below. And we're going to start today with Insomniac and Spider-Man Remastered on the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5 has had several bugs and issues that we have talked about here on this show before, but one that was mentioned had to do with rest mode and even Spider-Man Remastered itself, as people who were actually reviewing the game ahead of the PlayStation 5 launch mentioned that there was a problem in rest mode, specifically with Spider-Man Remastered. Well, Insomniac said they would try to fix this up before Thanksgiving break, and it looks like they have done that. We can go over to their tweet here. It says, overnight, we released an update for Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4, bringing those suits and the ability to export your save to Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. We also updated Remastered to allow import of those exported saves, and with many additional fixes, that does include rest mode crash. And this is good because rest mode in general is supposed to be convenient. Instead, it seems to be more terrifying for people. No one really wants to use rest mode because they hear stories like how Spider-Man Remastered was crashing systems to the point where they were trying to rebuild databases, and it turns out the PS5 was basically just done. It was like bricked. So good to see that Insomniac has that figured out here with the latest patch. And it turns out if you export your save, at least according to people online now, to the PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man Remastered from the PS4, and you had the Platinum Trophy unlocked, apparently it'll just unlock for Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5. So good work there from Insomniac to get this out a little ahead of schedule. Also, it sounds like we're going to be getting more information on the future for Yakuza. Now, Like a Dragon is a game that came out alongside of the Series X, and I really like that game. It turns out it's a fairly long game, however, and I've been going back to it and playing through it as I've had time, but I really like the shift to a JRPG format. I thought it was an interesting change of pace for the Yakuza series, but it turns out we'll be finding out a bit more about the future on December 8th. We can go over to Gamatsu here, where they have the story that's saying Sega will host a Yakuza series 15th anniversary special live stream December 8th. That's from 20 Japan Standard Time to 22. Looking at the difference in time zone for Eastern Standard Time, that would be December 8th. For me, I believe at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And you will be able to watch this on YouTube as it will be live streamed. And according to them, this will take place then having 15 years of the Yakuza series to look back on, as well as make announcements for future developments. And I am very curious where they go with the Yakuza series now after tackling a JRPG. Do they go back to more of the action RPG, or do they stick with the JRPG format? I don't know. Do they try something completely different? They do like a Yakuza racing game. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if you have any ideas for the series, because it certainly looks like they're not afraid to experiment with the overall gameplay for it. And maybe that's what makes it really fun, is you never know what they're going to come up with. Oh, and we've talked about how Jim Ryan's been making the rounds, especially on the second channel with Spawn Wave Plus, mentioning Game Pass and then saying that they are working on like a counter for Game Pass. Well, in the latest interview with GQ, this is what he had to say. I think the cloud will probably become more important over the course of the next few years, even though there are still business model and technology challenges. As that happens, we're continuing our studies and our investment, looking at this very carefully. PSNow and Plus are very important to us today. This year, we're just trying to keep it focused on the PlayStation 5 and the games, but that doesn't mean we're thinking deeply about our services and figuring out some quite interesting stuff that'll get its own moment in the limelight. Now, I am curious if they will actually look at Game Pass and say, okay, we might be able to put a newer game on the PlayStation Plus collection, something they introduced with the PS5 that has a lot of their games from the PS4 ready to go, and you can download and just play it on the PS5 without having to buy it from the PlayStation Store, as long as you're a PlayStation Plus member. And that's a cool thing to add because it gives you a lot of things you can play right away through backwards compatibility with the PS5 that has improvements for a lot of these games. But with something like Spider-Man Miles Morales, go to this collection, within the first year of its release. That's the biggest thing they have to kind of weigh out here, if it really is worth competing with Game Pass on that level when Sony really drives console sales and even game sales with big launches for games that they are looking to get the full $70 for. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo's massive eShop sale. Now, if you just got a Switch or you know you're getting one for the holidays, you're going to want to take a look at these sales here because there are a lot of games that are on sale at pretty good discounts, and you can kind of get a library started even before you get the Switch if you're on Nintendo's website and you kind of have your account set up and all of this. But let's go over to the page here. Nintendo has this all on their deals page that I'll link down below. And we can see this says save big with cyber deals the 23rd of November all the way through the 2nd of December. These deals will be live. So basically until the 3rd of December, you should be able to go through and pick some of these deals up, which is good. That gives at least enough time, of course. Now we do have some first party games from Nintendo, like Link's Awakening marked down to $40. We also have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 down to $40, as well as Torn of the Golden Country down to $26.79. Super Mario Party down to $40. I do want to point out, by the way, a lot of Nintendo's first party games are going to be cheaper at retail. So a lot of stores right now are selling those games for $30 or less currently. But I know a lot of people are really moving towards the digital side of things with the Switch because it's more convenient since it's a portable system. So this is probably your best bet for those. Nintendo doesn't necessarily mark down their digital first party games very often. We also have Outer Worlds cut in half there, down to $30. Daemon X Machina also down to $40. And we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions also down to $40. If you're looking for a good couch co-op game that's less than $10, I completely recommend Castle Crashers Remastered. That's only $9 there. And then Ni no Kuni, which always seems to go on sale for these kind of things, is marked down pretty heavily here from $50 down to $15. And Divinity Original Sin 2 at $35 is an awesome pickup for the amount of content there. As for some of the other publishers that are taking part with this sale, we do have Supergiant Games that actually put Hades on sale. It's $19.99. I probably don't have to try to talk you into that. It's one of the games nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards alongside some very, very large games. So that is certainly worth grabbing at $20. We do have Sega who rolls in here with Sonic Forces at $10. Well, look, Sonic Mania is also $10. And then they have several of kind of their older games from their arcades also marked down pretty well here. And I'll also give a nice little shout out to Shining Residence Refrain at $12. That's not bad. Devolver Digital does have Katana Zero at $9. My Friend Pedro, also that's down to $10. Capcom also has several games on sale here, like Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Not bad if you saw Monster Hunter Rise and maybe are in the Monster Hunter mood right now on the Switch. Not a bad one there to pick up at $16. Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection at $19.79. Dragon's Dogma down to $15. And hey, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy at $15 is pretty good. Most of the Resident Evil games from what I can tell have some sort of discount ranging from $5 to $10. And then you also have Okami HD down to $10 and Onimusha Warlords down to $8. 2K decided to put all of their Borderlands games on sale, as well as the BioShock collection and the individual titles from that collection. And look at this, WWE 2K18 marked all the way down to $19.79. That was really a $60 game, but now we have the decision to make. Do we get WWE 2K18 or do we get Hades? $20. But I have to say, for the most part, this is a pretty good sale. Just how many games they have marked down here, even from Nintendo with some of their first-party stuff that I know they don't like to put on sale, but you still see them there. And having some of the publishers like Capcom and 2K and others take part in this is pretty good. So certainly worth checking out to see what you can find here, especially in things like the $10 under section. I like seeing what drops down there because then you can get a lot of quantity, a lot of games for the money. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 stock situation, especially when it comes to resellers and scalpers online. It's something that we're really dealing with this year, specifically with this launch, because Sony did say that they are not going to be stocking these in retail stores. They're opting to go fully online with these sales due to the pandemic and the situation now, of course, in the world. So it seems anyway that scalpers are having a field day right now, and we see subscription services that will offer up bot services that are making a massive impact for a lot of people who are looking for a PlayStation 5 system at MSRP. It's actually really easy to get a PS5 if you're willing to spend over $1,000 for one. Yeah. But it looks like Business Insider did an entire piece all about some of these different botting services, and some of the numbers that they got from these different organizations were eye-opening because we're talking about stock that retailers are looking at, are jealous of right now for people who are just going through checkout and picking these up with bots that were created by websites in order to get things like sneakers. And they're kind of looking at the PlayStation 5 and they're saying, well, wow, the margin on that is really good. So they turn their attention to it. For example, according to Business Insider, one group named Crep Chief Notify says our total collective number, this is of PS5 systems that they managed to grab, is 2,472 PS5 consoles across all of our members. Now they go on further to say that that's in addition to just under 1,000 PlayStation 5 pre-orders from back in September when Sony initially opened sales. Now apparently Crep Chief Notify is made up of 12 staffers and they charge a subscription for access to its services starting at about $40 and going all the way up to $530. And there really are a lot of options here. If you're someone who doesn't even know how to use a bot, they have services that will help you basically use the bots that they have, and that lets you get through checkout faster than any person can. And trust me, I'm sure you have been at some point, if you're trying to get a PS5 and you don't have one now, you might have had one in your cart. This happened to me. And I'm checking out and it's gone. It just got like basically snagged out of my cart and was checked out seemingly by someone else. And I had like the account set up, I had the card info already set in. I was just trying to click through and get to the end of it where it said your order was confirmed. It was something weird. And then you start to hear about 3,500 PlayStation 5 systems being picked up by just one group. There are several groups, by the way, and it turns out that a lot of these groups combined have more stock than all of the actual online retailers combined now, which I guess isn't surprising since they keep selling out and they're going to these groups. So they just keep accumulating these systems and then they post them on eBay. Now, the biggest part here is there is an obvious drive to continue improving these bots, and there's less of a drive for retailers to kind of circumvent these bots because they're still selling the systems, right? What do they care? They're making the money they need to. They're selling the systems, they're selling the accessories and the games, and then they're just getting posted up on eBay. So Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, I doubt they care that much. I guess GameStop is throwing them into bundles, and that's kind of, the bots I'm sure are looking at that and they're like, we're looking for just the system itself. But still, then you get some weird stuff in the bundles that you don't necessarily need. If there's a game that's not selling very well, guess what? It's going next to that PlayStation 5 system. You're getting Godfall one way or the other. So my biggest concern here after looking through this piece from Business Insider is I kind of think we're going to be dealing with this situation with resellers for the PS5 for a while. This could be something we deal with throughout the next year or so, and we could be dealing with this again next holiday. This was like the launch holiday, and it's going to be hard to find them, but like generally we'll get enough stock to where it overtakes demand and it's a little easier to walk in and find one, but I don't know. I think we might end up seriously in 2022 still dealing with this as long as the market holds this up. So that's gonna be the biggest thing. Can Sony continue to flood the market with PlayStation 5 systems to the point where it's not worth it for these people with bots to keep buying them because they just get backed up themselves with stock? So we'll see what happens, but from what I can tell with eBay, especially right now at the holidays, they are selling. And that means that they will continue to pick these up from retailers and flip them. And you know what's interesting here? Because they have so many along with other groups, they technically control the market with the resellers. So let's say we get a week out from Christmas, maybe these systems, rather than $1,000, maybe they turn out to be $1,300 and they all go up at once. And that's because they control the market with how many they have. Next up, let's talk about Neo, The World Ends With You. If you've been watching this show for a little while now, this should not have surprised you. When that countdown went up, I told you guys, they're probably announcing a new World Ends With You game, and it's not gonna be a cell phone game. It appeared that it was going to be a full-fledged console release that's built from the ground up for something like the Switch and the PlayStation 4. It looks like that is what's happened, as they have now announced Neo, The World Ends With You. There was the press release that was put out there, and we can see Gamatsu posted that up on their site, saying Neo, The World Ends With You brings a recreation of modern Shibuya to life in a unique and comic-inspired style. Players can explore and enjoy the sights, sounds, and culture of this bustling city, fight monsters alongside their ally companions in fast-paced action battles, and complete missions as they seek to change the fate they've been handed. People were very excited, and I understand. This game, the original one for the DS, came out in 2017, 2007, so 13 years ago. We had that remix, basically the remaster release on the Switch with terrible controls. I mean, it wasn't good, but you could still play through it. They also put it on cell phones on Android, and at the end they added a little bit extra content that seemed to hint towards a sequel. And since then we've kind of been waiting, and we got the countdown, and here we are now with a new game that is slated, at least for now, I say for now because you never know with development right now, with a release window currently of summer 2021. So we'd be waiting for less than a year for this game to come out. And when they showed it, I got pretty excited because it looks good. I mean, it's going to be a 3D style game, obviously. We kind of dealt with one that was more like 2D oriented on the DS, naturally. But it's good to see this because it tells me that the controls will be much, much better for something like the Switch or the PlayStation 4. So exciting stuff there. I expect there to be a big marketing push around this game by Square, probably starting in like February or March of next year, provided that development isn't slowed down or anything based on issues with remote work currently going on. So exciting stuff there for fans of The World Ends With You. Good to see a sequel to that game. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about the UK sales charts. This will give us a good look at how the charts may have changed a bit with the PlayStation 5 releasing in the UK this past week, and Age of Calamity also releasing on Friday. Let's go over to the top 10 here, where we can see Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has stayed pretty steady with its sales. Despite it dropping down, it's still actually managed to jump up to number 1, which is good to see that. FIFA 21 there at 2. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales stayed in there at 3. Remember, PS5 games released even a week prior. People were buying the game even before the system was available in the UK. That's still at number 3. And then we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla dropping down to 4. Fortnite The Last Laugh bundle, which is basically just Fortnite, I guess, with some extra skins and V-Bucks, little package you could buy in stores right now. So there you go, number 5 for that one. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity there at number 6. Watch Dogs Legion at 7. Animal Crossing New Horizon at 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 9. Then Minecraft on the Switch. Keep in mind, these would be all physical box sales in the UK. So looking at some of the sales performances here, Spider-Man Miles Morales was the best-selling PlayStation 5 debut launch title there. So that's good to see that. It was below Spider-Man 2018 though, however, when that released on the PS4 and box copies. Now that could be because of digital sales really starting to overtake physical sales now, but I do think when Spider-Man 2 drops, that's going to be the big selling game. Spider-Man Miles Morales, while it is a game that I really liked, I do understand it is kind of coming off as more of an expansion, standalone expansion to Spider-Man from the PS4. As for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, it did significantly better than the Wii U port of Hyrule Warriors, beating it by over 300%. However, it still came up short to something like Link's Awakening, as an example, by about 45%. It still has the Warriors name on it, so it's not quite up to what like a traditional Zelda style game would sell like in the UK, but still, that's not bad considering that's way better than a lot of Dynasty Warriors games and how those sell. I think it's really the promise that this was going to add to the lore of Breath of the Wild in general that really drove a lot of those sales. So I'm sure for the most part, based on it being a Warriors game, Nintendo and Koei Tecmo are probably pretty happy with its performance. Now we'll still have to see more sales numbers. Nintendo will release some for it when we get to their eventual shareholders report, and we'll find out more from Japan when we get the Media Create and the Famitsu sales charts this week. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Angie saying, honestly, I'm still waiting to hear something about the new Pokemon Snap game. I'm really looking forward to it, but it's been pretty silent since its announcement. Okay, so 2021, seemingly, right now anyway, looking at it, is going to be a massive year for Nintendo. There were some projects that they had slated for this year that unfortunately couldn't come out due to the pandemic, remote work delays, all these things. Fortunately though, most of those games didn't get announced. So like people don't really know about them and they got pushed a bit, and it sounds like they're really gearing up to have kind of what they had in 2017, where like every month it seemed we were getting a pretty good or fairly large release. And like, for example, Pokemon Snap seems like that's slated for the first quarter to first half of 2021. And then we'll probably have another Pokemon game on the back half of 2021. And then who knows, maybe they have another cell phone game thrown. That's just Pokemon. I think we'll also get a lot of updates for things like Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Prime Trilogy. Yeah, I said that one again. Bayonetta 3. And then there are some other projects that are coming up, we'll say, in the development cycle. And then when that's done and they reveal those and then eventually release them, probably in 2021, even early 2022, those development studios within Nintendo are probably going to start getting geared up for another 3-year dev cycle. and get ready for the next Switch. So this, I think, is gonna be like the big hurrah for the Switch coming up over the next year to year and a half, and it's gonna be even larger because of what 2020 ended up being. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. Enjoyed this video, guys? Hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today, whether it's the big Black Friday Cyber Monday sale from Nintendo. Let me know if you saw anything good in there. Feel free to let people know in the comments. Any good recommendations, especially with the steep discounts right now. Might be worth picking up a few games, taking a chance on a few games there. Then also, what about the situation around PlayStation 5 stock being more in favor right now for resellers and scalpers online, as we see those prices continue to drive up through the roof? And then The World Ends With You finally getting a sequel. Are you excited? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.